Hey, welcome to Truth and Reality. I am Ashley, and this podcast is dedicated to just that, talking about the ups, the downs, the in-betweens of life, and how God and faith fit into all of it. We are back talking about gratitude. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Ash. It's good to be back.
Glad to have you here.
Great topic. Definitely well needed. I think especially in the season of November coming in, the season of Thanksgiving, I think gratitude is such an important thing to just talk about, and what can we learn from it, and the posture of gratitude in all seasons of life.
Yes, and last time we talked about the verse in 1 Thessalonians 5, and where it talks about giving thanks in all things, not for all things, but in every situation. You're being grateful and gratitude to God. It also talked about having your life be a prayer. That's what it said in the Passion. And it also talks about in the New Testament giving, coming to God with all of your heart, with all of your requests, with thanksgiving. Present your requests to God. Mm-hmm. And then the peace of God.
That's exchange.
Is exchange.
So you present your request to God, and in return, He gives you peace.
Yeah, with thanksgiving. And so that's kind of hard. We talked about in situations we shared from our life that have been challenging, but how gratitude has kind of reshifted and reset our eyes on Jesus and on God and who He is. And it takes our eyes off of that tricky situation or the struggle or the pain. And that doesn't go away, like we talked about before. But it aligns what we're focusing on and what we look on. And we're able to then get a perspective shift.
I love that.
Yes. So today we are going to talk about gratitude again with that focus of putting our eyes on Jesus. We had talked about when we reflect on the faithfulness of God in the past, when we look back on our lives through the lens of Jesus and how He showed up and how He delivered and set us free, when we see the faithfulness of God and we are grateful for that and we give Him thanks, it really builds our faith for the now. When we're in the middle of the next thing, the next issue, trial, struggle, even if it's not something very daunting, it really sets this foundation of if God showed up back here, He's going to do it again.
That's good.
It helps build our faith for the future.
That's so good. And I think I can recount as we're sitting here of how many times God has been faithful in the past, or just seeing His healing hand upon our lives and my kids' lives. And I think it's so important to look back sometimes and see, right? We tend to just look forward, like, where is He faithful? God, where are you going to show up? Where are you going to be in this area? And I think it's so important, like you said, it's like to stop, pause, look back and see His goodness.
Yeah, so there's a passage in Joshua 4 that talks about Joshua taking the Israelites over the Jordan River, and the water had stopped and they had crossed on dry ground. When they said, so in the verse, I'm going to read it to you. So it said, when all the nation had finished passing over the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, take 12 men from the people of each tribe, and take 12 of them and have them pick up one stone from the middle of the river and bring it up out with them. And it said, go into the midst of the Jordan, take up one stone on your shoulder according to the number of tribes, that this might be a sign among you when your children ask in times to come, what do those stones mean to you? You shall tell them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the Ark of the Covenant. When we passed over the Jordan, all the waters were cut off, and this is a memorial to the people of Israel forever. And so I love that because that's a picture, and it's almost like that's what we're saying to do with our gratitude and thanksgiving, is to go back and take these stones of remembrance from your past and place them right in your present. That's what gratitude does over and over, so that you can tell your children, that you can tell your family, that you can even remind yourself, here's what God did in the past. And it builds this foundation of faith that God will show up now. He has never left us. He's with us constantly. He will make a way, even if we don't see a way. And that builds faith for the future. And when we say that out loud, it's even faith building as you say it. It's maybe said in faith. I've said many things in faith. Okay, God, you've healed me. God, you've walked me through this trial. God, you helped me find a way through divorce that I didn't think there was a way. God, you healed my soul. You helped my children. You set us in a new place. God, you did that then. So I know I'm not certain how to get through this next thing, or I'm not certain what the future holds, but I know that you're with me. I know that you'll provide. I know that you'll be my strength. I know that you'll be my guide.
Yep.
And so that is the way of gratitude, even saying thank you for providing a way.
Yep.
Thank you for showing me the next step I'm supposed to take. Thank you for holding me in my sorrow.
Right.
Those are the things that we can say and declare that build our faith, knowing that God will help us through the next season.
Right. And I think for me, I think that season was like, God, help me heal from the devastation of losing Matt. God, help me heal from, this place of brokenness. God, help my kids heal, right? Help me heal so I can help them heal. And it was like, God, help them heal so they can love and help others. It's like so many deep places of healing. It's like God can bring hope into those hopeless situations, right? God, be the father to the fathers, to my kids. God, help them heal so they can love others, and I think healing is such a deep work. And like you said, so many times when we can go back and look, I can see the faithfulness of God in the last 5 years and how he has healed some of the deepest places that I thought God couldn't touch, right? That it was too deep of a wound. You knew me then, like the devastation of losing Matt was just beyond. I just assumed we would get the miracle. I just assumed that God was going to show up in that way. He did show up just in other ways that we thought. And I see him continually showing up, bringing healing into our home, bringing joy into our home, seeing the faithfulness of God, just seeing my kids thrive, seeing me find joy again. And I think, just a place of gratefulness and gratitude is so, so powerful.
And I like how you said that. You said there's a place of gratefulness and gratitude of seeing God show up, even if it wasn't what I expected.
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes a place, especially where I sit,
Yeah.
is I think or expect or hope God to show up a certain way.
Yep.
And so I think sometimes when I'm sitting in the middle of a struggle or a trial, or I'm waiting for a season to change, or waiting for another area of my life that I've been praying for, you're sitting here and you're waiting and you're going, okay, God, you've said you're going to show up. You said this. I'm not sure how to walk through this season. And we have some expectation on it.
Yep.
And what we're working through with my life coach right now is really placing our hope and our gratitude and our faith in who God is, and releasing the expectation of how God will do it.
Yep, I was just going to say, that's so key. Yep.
And that's a struggle. That's a hard thing for me to do.
Me too. 100%. I've been there.
So whether it's I'm waiting for a job, I'm praying for my child to get through a certain season, I'm praying for a spouse, I'm walking through, relationship troubles with friends or family. It's in this season of saying, God, you've shown up in the past, and here's who you are. And I'm so grateful for that. Now, God, I'm not sure how you're going to do this, but I know you're healer, and I know you're provider. And here's what the Lord spoke to me, or what the word of God says. Now, taking our expectation off of that and allowing God to move, because honestly, his plans are far greater than my expectations or my limits of it.
Well, and even as you said that, I can remember like the first Christmas after Matt passed. Like I remember just standing at the Christmas tree, just weeping. And I said to God, take these shattered pieces. Those shattered pieces were dreams, were hopes, were my kids, were me. We were shattered. We were devastated by this outcome. And I was like, God, make it something beautiful. And I kept saying it over and over, just tears weeping down my face. Make it something beautiful. I'm like, I dare you. And I think he meets us in those moments. Not the dare part, but it was like he saw my pain and he knew that there would be good in it, even in the midst of our pain. And it was like, I've seen him take those shattered pieces slowly, daily, and bring it something beautiful, different than I thought.
Yes.
And it's sometimes, like you said, surrendering the outcome and saying, God, I trust you that you're going to be faithful in the areas that I didn't think you were faithful in. God, I'm going to trust you that you're going to bring beautiful even in the hard.
Yeah. And that beauty of seeing from the outside perspective, your life with your children over the last 5 years, how the Lord has shown up and empowered and healed and grown. Your kids are grown, right? And shaped and healed, and really now walking on a different level of healing as a family. It's amazing to say, oh God, you did all of that.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing all that. And now as we head into this next season, there is a level of confidence in that experience you've had with God.
You're so right. Yep.
That sets you, so whatever comes, It's almost like this faith confidence of that gratitude reflection of where God's taken you from and to here, and how he's going to help you walk into the next season. Yeah. And I think sometimes, I'm like, even as we sit here, it's like, it's good to have friends to bounce that back up or remind you. Yeah. It's good to have you to remind me of like, I saw you 5 years ago. The Lord has done a work.
Different person. Yeah.
He's done a work.
Yeah.
And in the next season, as I'm walking into, what does life look like for the next year or the next 2 years? I don't know.
Yep.
But I know that when I reflect with gratitude for where he's brought me, I can face the future less timid or less afraid. I think sometimes I don't want to look at it, or I feel nervous, and the Lord is saying, do you trust me?
But I think you can stand and look at the future from a different lens and a different posture, because like you said, I stand in a different place now. It's not sand. I think before it was sand, it was uncertain. I was sinking. It's like where I stand now, it's like, it's concrete. It's cement. It's like my eyes are focused and know that there's good, even in the uncertainty, even in the question and the wondering, you know? And it's like my view is different. Your view is different than where you were standing before, you know?
And it's that reflection on the faithfulness of God. It's that gratitude for all that the Lord has done within our own personal lives and mindsets and hearts, right? And experience. It's that experience that gives that foundation. Not to know what's coming. We don't know what's coming. We're not sure. But we trust that he's with us. And that he'll walk us through. And that whatever comes our way, we both have tangible experiences. 100%. I'm sure you guys have tangible experiences that, you know, it might not be fun. It might not be good. It might not feel good at the moment. But God will work it for good.
He will.
And he brings beauty from ashes. And he will walk you forward. And so that's what gratitude grounds you in the faithfulness of God. I feel like that's what it really has done for me.
No, I think there's been so many, like, I think you and I called it like a full circle moment, where I look at like some of the hardest moments that I've walked through, seeing where I stand now. It was like, God's like, I knew you'd be there, and I knew you'd be here, and I knew you'd be still standing. And I was like, you knew, and the Lord's like, yep, and you trusted me through every step of the way. And they're victories, right? Like, you know, one specifically that I'm speaking of, it was like, I knew that place that I was standing that was very shaky, very uncertain, to stand here now. It was like only something God could do, you know? And I trusted him, even on the uncertainty, even on the unknowing. And it was like, he knew I'd be both places, you know? So.
And sometimes the trust is like bold, like, oh, God's got it, we're good. And sometimes it's like, are we sure, God? Okay, we're gonna take the step. It's like it's that trust. It's the choice of trust, even when there's that uncertain. I feel like that's where God works.
Like, hold my hand, God. Hold my hand, because can you do this? I know you did it then. Like, okay, you will. You're good. Okay, God, let's do this.
And that's where gratitude plays in. When we have that doubt, I mean, we're human. We're all gonna doubt, right? And if we aren't doubting, and like fully, like,
but
in
he
moments,
can handle our doubt, and he can handle our uncertainty, and like you said, you know,
and that's where you remind yourself, here's what God did in the past. God, thank you that you showed up. Thank you that you were with me. Thank you that you provided. Thank you that you healed.
So
thank you that you are in this. Whatever you're walking through or sitting in now, even if it's fairly good, like I talked about before. Like, I'm like, I'm in a good season. I'm grateful for the season that I'm in. And I know whatever I'm walking towards, he's going to be with me. My hope's that he's with me, that he loves me, that he will guide me through. Right? And it's that tension of not knowing, but trusting God in that moment. And I just think gratitude just, like, again, grounds me there.
I will say, even that place of gratitude where you were like, he loves me. It's like sometimes in the car, it's like, God, you love Melissa Richmond. God, you love Melissa Richmond's kids. God, you love the plans and purposes you have for Melissa Richmond. It's like over and over and over. I have to say it, even when I'm questioning, even when I'm doubting. Like, you're still in it. Feels long, right? You're still in it. You know, it's like just that daily confession of just like, yep, God, you've seen me, you know me, in every moment, even when I question or I'm uncertain. Even though it's good.
I like that, the confession, the saying out loud, saying the faithfulness of God in the past out loud. I think your body and your mind and your brain and your heart
lines up.
It hears it, and it kind of pulls me out of whatever, if I'm doubting or if I'm nervous or if I'm uncertain. It pulls that out. Like, we validate those emotions and feelings. We feel them, but that pulls it out and is like, yep, this is the solid rock on which I stand. This is Jesus. Yes, okay. And gratitude does that for
Yep.
us. Yeah.
So good.
So join us next time when we talk about some practical tips of gratitude and how we practice gratitude. So
Yes.
thanks for joining us.
Thank you.